Hi there, and welcome to Boxing Media Hub. We're proudly sponsored by Falcon Contracting. This is an unusual one. We're coming to you in the middle of the night in the UK because there's an absolute outrage at the minute that apparently Ryan Garcia has failed a Vada drugs test. So I've got my boy here, Leak the Geek. He's going to talk me through what he believes to be the situation and what the consequences could be.
So Jim, thanks for having me. And I think that again, this is all allegedly and apparently, but if Ryan Garcia, if it comes out that Ryan Garcia really did use any type of PED, I'm already seeing people like Tank fans or Javante Davis, Richard Hitchinson already defending that whatever happened that night was going to happen anyway because it didn't matter if he was 3 pounds over. It didn't matter if he was on PEDs. Let me tell you something. Today, I cut my boxing training off today only because I did 4 straight days of hard work. And I'm not that good of a boxer, you guys. I don't always use my reference of like, oh, I'm in the gym to stunt on anybody else. I actually train with a professional boxer who's like 2-1 right now. Right? There's levels to this, right? And he is way above me. And let me tell you this right now, Jam. There are days where if he didn't get enough sleep the day before, literally just enough sleep the day before, and I'm in Chicago, and if he would have had a Chicago-style pizza the day before and didn't get enough sleep, and I got enough sleep and had a salad the day before, I have an advantage over him.
Yeah.
I have literally landed punches that I normally wouldn't land. Had better endurance than I should have. And I'm not saying that I went and just whooped him up, but I'm talking about like I held my own in a way that I normally wouldn't. And that's just from sleep. That's just like I've seen times where he's gotten off being sick, or like I said, he's done a 10-day straight workouts, and on that 11th day, and I came in fresh. I've had advantages. So there's no way that anybody can try to say that Ryan having any type of PD advantage doesn't 100% impact how that fight goes.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, mate. Without a shadow of a doubt. It's drug cheating in its purest form. Peds are performance-enhancing drugs. If he's taking them, he isn't enhancing his performance, and he deserves to get... It's allegedly, but if he has done it, he deserves to be banned for life, in my opinion. He already came in over. He was already cheating, and then he's doubled down on the cheating. That, for me, is the lowest form of cheating. Allegedly, my brother. Yeah, allegedly. So where do we go from here? What do you think is going to happen if this turns out to be true?
Well, so look, there's living in the world of what should happen, right? And there's living in the world of what probably will happen, right? So let me go ahead. I'm going to start off with the morality piece around what should happen. What should happen is that he, similar to the Alicia
Baumgartner.
Yeah, we need to make sure that you look at all the B samples, you look at everything, and make sure that we can actually see that this is exactly what's happening, and it's something that maybe even a third party can confirm. And then what should happen is that he should have some type of ban. I mean, again, as passionate as I just was, I probably am not going to say that he should have a lifetime ban. I'm like anything between the 2 to 5 year mark. And with certain stipulations around not being able to actually win titles, and X, Y, and Z, which kind of leads me to the other point of what's probably going to happen. What's probably going to happen is he's going to get some type of when you actually go into the investigation, he's going to get some type of slap on the wrist, because at the end of the day, similar to Alicia, he could just feign ignorance. And within legal standpoints, right? And I have a little bit of a background in debate and legal aspects, is that you have to prove intention.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you can't prove it, which is extremely hard, right? So if you can't prove intention, then legally speaking, you can argue that, well,
plead ignorance.
Like Canelo, it was just in the meat because I'm in Mexico and I didn't know, and X, Y, and Z, and then he can get some form of a slap on the wrist. But really and honestly, it's always going to be because of the money aspect, right? You have to follow the green. Ryan Garcia is a cash cow and will be utilized and leveraged for his ability to market boxing to the mainstream.
Yeah.
So
100%.
that's probably what's going to happen. What's going to happen is that he's going to go and obviously, like anybody, maintain his innocence. He's already doing it. Maintain and troll everybody. He's gonna create that narrative that now that I've been around Trump, now that I'm on this victory lap, all of a sudden they're saying X, Y, and Z. I think that that's probably what's going to happen. I think that what boxing fans who have already been on certain spaces already, and I've heard boxing fans talk about their reactions, and I'm seeing people get upset. Well, there's certain points that we have to talk about, right? Let's have some common sense. Why would they let him into the ring if they knew he was cheating? Sometimes I just feel like sometimes sometimes it's like people just, and maybe it's just Americans, we just lack common sense sometimes.
I don't know, mate, because Malik, we've got the same over here, mate, with a guy called Conor Benn. Do you know Conor Benn?
Of course we know Conor Benn.
Yeah, he claims to have had too many eggs, and that's why he failed. And he's pretty much got away with that. Yeah, he can't fight in the UK, but he's fighting in America, he's fighting in Australia. So he's just skirted around the issue. Do you think Ryan Garcia will do the same if it's proven he's done this?
100%, but let me clarify that with the testing, you test at random times, and you test at different times right before the fight, and it still takes time for those tests to come back. So obviously the reason why they might know allegedly that he tested positive the day before and the day of, you're not going to get those test results back until after the fact. You're not going to know when they're actually boxing, right?
Yeah,
so what they're going to know is that maybe 10 days to 14 days before the fight he was clean, but that's why we're just now figuring out now, like, come on, you guys, have a little bit of common sense. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's not like a lot of things are rigged, but it's not that deep. I just wanted to clarify for that because I just feel like sometimes
it's not that corrupt, mate. It's definitely not that corrupt, is it? It's not that corrupt.
Right. So it's like, come on now, like, but I will say that every single time this happens, and then it's the same thing, right, with the refs and these crazy judging. But every time this happens, we need to be outraged. We need to speak on it, and we need to it needs to like have some type of pushback every time. You know, regardless of how far us throwing tantrums, or it just needs to be talked about, because at the end of the day, boxing is an extremely dangerous sport. It's very dangerous.
These men are giving their life for our entertainment.
And as we talked about, even and don't get it twisted, from a technical point of view, but from a very physical point of view, Devin Haney took a beating.
Yeah.
Okay, and if he took more of a beating, even one extra hard punch, one of the punches looked like they might have even dislocated his jaw, almost broke his jaw, then, and if one of those punches was because you were on some type of unfair advantage, it needs to be talked about. You need to be, and I'm not a big person on shame, but in this situation, it's 100% feasible. You need to be shamed. It's not the right thing to do.
Completely agree with you there, Malik, mate. That is 100% where I stand. I hate drugs cheats. I'm completely against it. I can't bear it, mate. It's already a dangerous enough game without people cheating to get that extra advantage. You know what I mean? There's just no need for it. If you're not man enough to fight and get in the ring, don't get in the ring in the first place. You know what I mean?
No,
and there's rumours of Harvey Dock as well, about Bill Haney giving him a little talk saying, make sure Devon's okay in there. That's come out as well, which just puts a bit more tarnish on this, apparently. It just looks like a big conspiracy theory, either against Ryan or because Ryan's just dirty, apparently, you know.
Apparently. Now, a question I have for you, Jam, is there's this angle around, so then what do you do when these type of situations, how do you feel about, how does the betting work? How does the gambling work? If you were a person that was invested in, and let's not get it twisted, that you could be on one side or the other around gambling, and especially the recent huge push we've seen, but people betted on the fight, and people either won or lost because of allegedly something like this happening. So, what do you think? How do you think bets should be settled, or what do you think moving forward should happen with that?
I think probably everyone should get their money back if this fight's proven to have been a cheat by Harvey Dock or by Ryan Garcia taking pets. I think everyone who put a bet on should at least get their money back, if not be paid out their full win. That's where I land on that. But it's not right. People shouldn't be losing their hard-earned money on cheated fights, apparently, allegedly. But it just doesn't. I just don't like this whole stance with it. I don't like this whole thing. It just doesn't sit well with me. Boxing is a beautiful sport, put on by the best men in the world. We don't need these cheats, apparently, in the game. including the
Yeah.
refs and the boxers that do it.
So now you just gave me the idea. You just gave me the idea that, like, if we look at, because part of the reason why, as you just said, boxing is one of the most beautiful sports, if not the most beautiful sport, and it electrifies everybody when it's done the right way. And if we're talking about what it looks like nowadays for it to be done the right way, well, we have to be talking about the impact of his excellency. And I wonder if, with his excellency, if he can implement some type of policy around who he's now choosing to associate with and give his money to, based off of things like this. Because if he's a boxing fan, the same way everybody else is a boxing fan, we all feel like this should not be, at the very least, this should not be rewarded.
Definitely.
Right? So
Cheat should never prosper, Malik. Cheat should never prosper.
Right. So if we're looking forward on, like, well, why are we getting the biggest fights moving forward, and how things are aligning, I'd love to see. And this is a of course, so everything is still allegedly, but this is me now. If His Excellency ever gets to see this in any shape, form, or fashion, that I say that I'd appreciate it if he could come out and voice his stance on drug cheats in general, and make a stand that he will not in any way reward people who have been convicted or proven guilty of drug cheats. And I think that would be a great first way, because everybody's jumping ship to get to some of that money. And I think that would be a great way so that we can start the process, because this is already deeply culturally within the boxing community, to show that, hey, this is no longer going to be rewarded.
I completely agree with you, mate. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%.
So we'll go ahead and tag His Excellency in this.
We'll do it, mate. When I post it after, we'll do that. But I'm going to leave it there, Malik, anyway, because it's been about 12 minutes. Thank you for joining me, mate. We've covered most of the points.
All right, brother.
Coming, mate. We'll see you again on the next one. Cheers, Malik. Bless up, fam.